So, speaking of life of a game, could you imagine buying a game and then it goes down for maintenance for more than 24 hours?
I can.
I would be upset.
It happened.
It did happen. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Citizens of Gaming Podcast. I'm Tim.
Hey, this is Josh.
And I'm Brenden.
Of course, it doesn't stop. Maybe it's just this time of the year. Maybe it's just been more relevant this year. Whatever. This is going to be yet again another news episode because it just does not stop flowing. It almost seems like every day there's 2 or 3 more items that we need to add to the list to get out there and cover.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is, again, getting into the new year, and also we're approaching the end of the fiscal year for a lot of companies and stuff. So, they're trying to get out their last minute things and get ready to spring into their new fiscal year to make more money. So there's just a ton of crap going on right now. Mainly, Activision Blizzard continues to be in whatever state you want to call it. Jesus Christ. In the last few weeks, they have taken on more lawsuits against them, sexual harassment ones. They just settled one earlier this week. I think it was like on March 29th or the 30th. They finally settled one of their many lawsuits for about $18 million. It's hard not to see it as a win for Activision because $18 million is basically nothing. They made over $8 billion in profits over the last year. Like 18 million is like pennies. But that money is supposed to go to help people in the lawsuit and help improve their practices and go to various other problems that they were causing.
Yeah, I saw amongst with all that lawsuit stuff, I've even seen some recent news that I think 3 U.S. senators have taken interest into Activision and the acquisition stuff between them and Microsoft due to those sexual harassment lawsuits that are ongoing. And I guess from what I've read that they believe, the reason why these senators have taken interest is they're afraid that this stuff will be swept under the rug when the acquisition is complete.
It sounds like
I read that correctly.
That's definitely part of it. They do also have some concerns about it being a monopoly, but again, it's not like it just isn't, realistically speaking. As big as the acquisition is, it sounds like it should be, but it's really not a monopoly comparatively. But yeah, they're worried that a lot of the Activision brass that created this culture is going to more or less just get off scot-free. In particular, Bobby Kotick, who's been in charge of Activision for the last 30 years almost. Again, he stands to make a ton of money. Like, he owns a fair amount of that stock. He's the CEO. He was paid in stocks. So when they get bought out, he stands to make a substantial amount of money. And supposedly they're worried he's going to get that money. And
are they gutting for him? They're trying to slash his arteries.
There's not a whole lot, at least that I know of. I'm not a lawyer or a politician. I don't think there's a whole lot that they can do specifically. I guess maybe they can like drag him into Senate court like they've done to some other people and stuff. But I don't know how viable that is. But that's really the concern, is that this might be bad for the workers and that their concerns might not be addressed, and that, again, like, everybody who was responsible for this is essentially just going to walk away with a couple $1 billion and not get found guilty of the environment that they created.
Getting a slap, not even really a slap on the wrist.
No, yeah,
almost
literally walking away.
Rewarded from it.
Oh yeah. While everybody just has to accept that they didn't get, what their issues they feel resolved.
Right. I am glad that there's kind of starting to be a little bit of headway with this. They have the one settlement. I do think that it needs to be brought to light, brought to justice. It just seems like we keep hearing more negative about it. It kind of hopefully starts turning around and the right people start getting, I don't want to say punished, but reprimanded. And new leaves start turning over at Activision as this acquisition continues to go on, and things of that nature.
I mean, just in light of all these, sexual harassment stuff just popping up. I mean, it's no fickle thing. I mean, it just seems to be coming out of the woodworks more and more and more by different employees in all branches through Activision, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's one of the most recent ones that got filed over the last month or so is, I mean, I don't want to go into the details here, but it's a terrible story about a woman who was basically sexual harassed to the point where she ended up killing herself. And it's not good. And the fact that some people might be able to just get away with that is not okay. I don't, like it's and yeah, more of them are probably going to keep coming now that I mean, I know it seems like it's piling on, but like it's kind of opened the dam, so to speak. Like
Yeah,
now
the
that,
floodgates are open. Yeah,
yeah. So now, a lot more people are feeling confident about coming forward and bringing these
as it
lawsuits.
should be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if this jeopardizes or lengthens the acquisition process, I'm all for that because from everything that we've mentioned throughout our episodes, I there should be justice
We
had.
would hope. We would
You can
hope.
only hope for. Yeah,
The one positive, though, is that Microsoft did say that if a union were to form from all the Activision Blizzard stuff, because again, there's been serious talks about their staff forming unions and stuff, that Microsoft would not block it. But, I guess we don't know how true that is until we actually see it happen if it happens.
yeah,
But that is at least somewhat of a positive sign. Maybe they're being polite. Who knows? We can't say for certain, but bit of a silver lining there. At least some good news coming out of this whole thing.
yeah.
Let's just hope that it kind of stays true that and Microsoft stays to their word.
Here's hoping.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And then also earlier, I think it was March 31st, actually. It's like the tail end of March. PlayStation announced its whole new PlayStation Plus model. It's going to be broken up now into like 3 tiers. You still get the basic one for $60 a year, which is the same basic PlayStation Plus subscription that people would have now.
And for clarification, this is their response to Game Pass.
To a degree, yes, because it doesn't do everything that Game Pass is doing. It's also got some kind of weird features, and they're also it's more a combining of two separate services that they had in PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now. Because PlayStation Now was like their streaming service, but you had to pay for that separately.
Yeah,
So now they're kind of merging the two. And so then there's that middle tier. I forget, it's like PlayStation Plus Extra, gets you all the stuff of basic PlayStation Plus, and then you can also you get like 400 PS4, PS5 games available for streaming and download, and it's supposed to be a bunch of stuff from first and third party titles, and then that costs $100 a year, and then the one above that is PlayStation, like PlayStation Premium or something,
yeah, I think, yeah.
and that one's $120 for the year, and you get all the stuff from the bottom two tiers, plus you get an extra like 300 games.
Is this where they're trying to implement the backwards catalog?
Yeah, is the highest tier. So you can get a selection of PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 4 and 5 games available for streaming or download. And then there's in theory going to be some things with the PlayStation 3 that you'll be able to cloud stream. You won't be able to download PlayStation 3 stuff because the PlayStation 3 firmware is garbage. It's,
Yeah,
yeah, like it's one of the biggest problems is the PlayStation 3 system was so rough and kind of ass backwards that that's why it can't be backwards compatible. Like it's such a huge problem.
yeah.
But so you'll be able to do some like cloud streaming of that. But like yeah, like Game Pass, it does not do day and date with service. So like you're not gonna get God of War Ragnarok.
Day
You
one.
know, yeah, you're
Yeah,
not getting that day one. You're not getting any PlayStation exclusives day ones. You're still gonna have to pay for those. It sounds great that it says 400 to 500 games, but like we don't know what those games are.
yeah.
Like they just said that there's that many of them, and we also don't know,
If they're
how
gonna add
often
more.
they're gonna add more, what's gonna rotate on and off. Like,
Yeah, how's the service gonna operate as compared to what people know with Game Pass and how often games stick through on Game Pass and come and go and come back and
yeah, we
yeah,
we just we just don't know a lot at this time. But this is definitely those higher level tiers are definitely somewhat of a response to Game Pass, because Game Pass has been a driving force for people getting Xboxes over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It hasn't like killed PlayStation's dominance on the market or anything like that, but it's definitely been a big boost to Xbox's sales. The fact that you can get an Xbox, get Game Pass, and Game Pass Ultimate, and you don't need to buy. You pretty much never need to buy a game again, honestly. Like,
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. It's
um,
honestly revolutionary. Honor.
I
That's
mean,
best way you can
it's
look at it.
Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate is the best deal in gaming, and I don't know how you could argue otherwise. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy the value for money that it brings to you.
There's definitely people
Uh,
that would argue it,
Yeah.
I mean, there
which is
Obviously.
definitely
insane.
is. There definitely is. But I mean, this day and age, like with how far it's come from its start to where it is now, like it is the best value for money
Well, not
in
only
video
that, but the
games.
fact that it's split between console and PC. I mean, that's
Well, I mean, you can get each one separately if you want to, but I mean,
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
if you
yeah,
get
yeah, but
you save money by getting it for Ultimate, and I mean, that's the thing is like Ultimate also includes Xbox Live Gold, so that way you can play online on Xbox
yeah.
and still get Game Pass on PC as well as console. Like it's a hell of a deal, especially if you have a PC and an Xbox. Like it's a no-brainer almost. It's
Also, and I
Yeah.
believe they still even honor the if you are in just a specifically, mind you, a Xbox Live Gold membership subscriber. I believe they still do honor that deal of if you switch to Game Pass, it would adjust its pricing to fit in, say your previous Xbox Live purchase tiers, or you know,
well, yeah, no, they usually run a deal where you can pay for like $1 for a month of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and it'll by doing that, it will retroactively move whatever leftover time you have on your Xbox Live Gold or regular Game Pass into an Ultimate membership. That's what I did. That's how they got me.
yeah, that's
I
how they got me. I did. I paid, I believe, $1 for a long time.
I mean, yeah, I paid. Well, I gimmick the system a little bit because I loaded up on Xbox Live Gold. They found out the limit was like 3 years, so I bought 3 more years of gold, and then I paid the dollar for Ultimate. So I got Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for like 3 years and a month, like $181 technically, which is
That's killer.
like basically paying for it for like a year and a half. And I'm still riding off of that.
Coming
I think
back
my
to,
ride ended last year, I believe. But like you said, Tim, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and speaking of Xbox Live, kind of news that I've kind of seen pop up over the past couple days, and even just quick Google searching it. Xbox is now working on a family plan. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Um,
hard rumors right now. I don't think there's
I
any
mean, I've seen
confirmations,
even
right?
IGA reporting that Xbox is, yeah, Microsoft reportedly working on Xbox Game Pass family plan, and that's from IGN. So
I
Yeah,
mean
it's
that's
hard rumors, right? I mean,
it again. There's nothing confirmed, but it would make sense. It like Nintendo Switch Online does the same thing. They have a family plan. You can share it up to like I think it's like 8 profiles for a fraction of the price than paying them separately.
So if you
Um,
want to talk about even more bang for your buck, like me, I have
yeah,
two
you have your
separate
kids, dude.
Xbox Live accounts, and
so
Game
you'd be
Pass
able to merge them.
accounts. So being able to combine them like this would even give me more bang for my buck.
Yeah,
Yep. And I mean that's the deal. They want people playing. They want to make sure that you're still hooked in. And yeah, it's a great deal. Like it really is. It's especially for families too who have like multiple Xboxes in the home for one reason or another.
Yes.
yeah.
And
I mean, that is. I mean, because like it's more common these days to be sharing your Xbox with members of your family. So it would
Or
only
to
make sense.
have multiple consoles in the house. I mean, I know I'm not the only
Yeah.
one with multiple consoles.
No, definitely not.
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so I really hope that this rumor becomes true because I know it's going to be beneficial to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I agree. Again, I
I
think
mean,
I would imagine they are going to do it. It's probably just a matter of them figuring out pricing and
And how to set it up. I mean it's not going to just be like, "Oh, hey, here it is." They're going to have to do some
yeah,
work on it.
yeah, they're going to want to make it as easy a transition as possible because that's just the way they like to do stuff. Like, they know it sucks when you have to jump through hoops to make stuff work like that.
Yeah.
And it's something Microsoft has been good about just, making it easy again on the consumer. I mean, yeah, like we just talked about with that Game Pass Ultimate deal for $1 and retroactively moving all your stuff into Game Pass Ultimate. Like that was easy. I didn't have to do anything. I just made the transaction for $1 and
Yeah. It was
and
just
then bam,
literally just a
magic.
click of a button. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have to do jack
It
squat.
was
So
seamless. I mean, that's one of the best things about Microsoft in my experience is a lot of seamless transitions between things. And guys, I guess on another end of news, when it comes to the world of subscription services, for the love of God, GTA, Rockstar, they announced a online subscription service. Why?
You know, I'm at this point. We're almost gonna ban Rockstar from this podcast until they give us something new.
I mean, it's gonna be a long, long wait.
It's just
I I can't like it's just this cash cow.
What's weird is I don't entirely know who this is for. Like it's $6 a month, and you get access to like some unique special in-game items, clothing, cars, properties, stuff like that, and you get like 500 grand donated into your in-game bank account every month, which
jeez.
in modern GTA economy is nothing. Like you can't buy anything for 500 grand.
But
Yeah.
when restarting on the next gen updates and you have to restart from the beginning, that 500 grand does help.
Well,
Yeah.
but that's the thing, though. This subscription service is only on PS5 and Xbox Series X. It's not available
Yeah,
on
it's
anything
only
else.
next gen. It's not. It doesn't carry to past gens. They confirmed or stated, not confirmed. The Rockstar stated that this was only going to be for next gen consoles specifically.
And I mean, most people are, if they're buying those games, if you're buying it for the new consoles at this point, you're transferring a save over. There is no
Yeah.
way in hell that anyone is buying a Series X or a PS5 to finally play GTA 5. Like no one has been waiting for this moment to
You never
finally jump on
No,
the GTA 5
my
bandwagon.
there's one or two
my
people out
my
there that did it.
my spec
Finally,
my
almost 9 years after
speculation.
it came out, I will play GTA 5 now that I'm finally ready. Like, no, that's insane. Like, I
They
just
could
don't
have
know who this is
they
for.
could have been
You
11
know,
when the game came out, Brendan.
it's like this is where my speculation comes in. I think they have no idea what they're doing with the next GTA, so they are like milking this GTA Online.
I,
That's a bit of a reach, but I mean, they're definitely doing it because it keeps making money. Like,
I wouldn't
it's hard
say
to get, it's hard to knock them because it keeps working. Like, I don't looking at McDonald's, like, why should they stop making burgers? Like, because it keeps making them money. Like, what do they need to
I
change? Like,
mean,
yeah.
I
I
don't know. It's just it's odd. I feel like it's odd.
So I don't think it's so much as like they're kind of getting desperate on things to do. I think they're just getting outlandish with their ideas. Like, what else can we get these people to buy? What else can we sell them?
I
That they're
mean,
just going to
That
keep
I
printing money for us.
they
that
could
I agree
invest
with.
time in Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean,
Nobody's playing that anyway.
yeah, not anymore, obviously, but back when it first came out, I I wholeheartedly believed, sorry, my words getting all conformed there. I wholeheartedly believed that Red Dead Redemption 2 Online was going to get some crazy cool content after their obsession with GTA Online, which actually that didn't pan out because of GTA Online.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what everybody thought originally, and
Yeah.
then it just didn't take off. And I mean, also to be fair, like the scope of Red Dead is a lot more limiting compared to GTA, because GTA has always been over the top and kind of
Yeah.
wacky. I mean, yeah, GTA Online is goddamn flying cars now. Like, once you kind of jump that shark, there's really not much left you can't do.
There's not much
But
that they
like,
can add into Red Dead, I think is what you're trying to
yeah,
get at.
yeah, that's what like they can't,
They can't make
make
flying
flying
horses.
horses. Yeah,
Dude,
Or this can be
it's
hey,
Harry
the
they
Wild
Potter
they
West.
had the
crossover.
unicorn. They had the unicorns in Red Dead One, the flame, like the Ghost Rider flame horse. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
they
so many cowboys and aliens, bro. I'm just saying,
I mean,
they
I'm not
they
saying
could have played around.
they could have, and you're not wrong. But I think part of it is just they saw that it wasn't attracting as big of an audience as uh, GTA Online was and still is.
Oh,
Otherwise,
but
I'm sure they would have invested time into it.
bet your
Uh,
ass they were making sure that season pass was operating in their little store for
Oh, of
Red
oh
Dead.
course.
yeah,
They were updating that for damn sure.
But I mean, it is what it is, and
Yeah.
I get they're just gonna keep finding ways to milk this for as much as it's worth until people stop paying for it.
I expect we'll play the next GTA in 5 years.
Hopefully by then, yeah.
Yeah.
5 years.
I'm
God, that
beginning to
sounds
think that we're going to
terrible.
get another GTA. The story mode is going to be trash, but god damn it, they're going to keep that Grand Theft Auto online going on Grand Theft Auto
Next
5.
gen console ready, bro. It's gonna be ready for
Man,
next gen again. Oh no.
EA Play and E3 this year have both been canceled. I don't know why EA Play has been canceled. E3, kind of quick search, is because of COVID. I guess
That
they're
is actually a
still.
good question because EA Play's always been kind of its own thing, right?
I mean, they do it around E3, but I can tell you right now why they don't have it, because they don't fucking have any games. There's
Oh, come on. They've got Madden. What are you
E-
talking about?
EA Play every year is one of the most depressing showcases I watch every year. It's so bad. Like, they set up this whole thing and this whole showcase, and then, like, and it usually goes for like about an hour.
Yeah.
Half of it is just their sports games. It's them showing off NHL, it's them
You're
showing
not
off Madden,
wrong.
it's them showing off
Yeah.
FIFA, and then like last year, the good 20 minutes of the rest of that hour was them trying to show off Battlefield, which we all saw how that turned out. The other 10 minutes were awkward interviews with the developers that they hid in the crowd, and it was them like announcing new projects that they had nothing for. Like, they
Yeah.
don't have anything, and it's been that way for years. Like, they have such an actual minimum schedule aside from their sports games,
You know,
which
they're
no one at
sleeping
E3
on
cares about.
Titanfall. I'm telling you, they're sleeping on the next Titanfall.
Well, I mean,
They're
hopefully that's
sleeping
in
on a lot of
development.
games, but
Yeah,
They
they
are,
are.
so it's a good thing that
but
that got canceled. I
yeah,
Yeah, mostly,
personally don't
yeah.
agree with E3 being canceled,
they've had some fair concerns about COVID with its recent spikes and yada yada.
but it's tapering off. Numbers are going down. I mean, everything's restoring
Yeah,
back to normal. I mean, even the CDC, I think, has dropped their mask mandate or mask
I mean,
requirement. I mean, like,
part of it too is I still don't think that they know what E3 is supposed to be anymore.
It's been
Um,
kind of falling off a little bit
I
this
mean, it's been
past
falling off
few.
it's been
Yeah.
falling off a lot just because of the internet age and everybody having direct access to their consumers. Like, why do you need to put together an hour and a half long showcase that costs you hundreds of $1,000s when you can put up a YouTube video whenever you want?
Well, yeah,
I mean,
especially after COVID when they did all those personalized online events for Microsoft had their own thing, Sony had their own thing. I
people were
mean,
doing that. Like, Nintendo was doing that before COVID, and
yeah,
then
so it
Sony
makes
even started
sense.
doing it before COVID. E3 was supposed to be about all these big announcements, but now you can spread those out and tell them whenever you want to. And the whole, like, show floor where people could go and play became a bit of a mixed bag because there's so many shows now throughout the year. Like, E3 used to be like the only one in America. But now, like, South by Southwest does it. PAX travels around the U.S. They have like 3 shows a year now. There's tons of little conventions too that do it. Like, it's not the big thing it used to be anymore, or like the necessary thing that it is used to be anymore. So they've been trying to hype it back up with like Twitch streamers and influencers and all this other nonsense. But it just doesn't serve as much of a purpose anymore. Whether or not it recovers and comes back next year, obviously we have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Uh,
so that makes a lot more sense as to why they would cancel it instead of trying to blame it on something else. And
yeah,
I'm all for them
Yeah.
coming out and just be like, hey, look, due to the age that we live in, we're just not going to hold E3 anymore. It's not, it doesn't make sense anymore. 10
There's
years
no profit
ago,
in it. Yeah.
yeah, 10 years ago when social media and, everything wasn't as relevant as it is today, I understand, all these big developers waiting until April, May, whenever E3 is, and doing their big showcase of their big title they're launching this year. But now they just throw it up on YouTube or they do a a
do
little
their own.
Oh,
partnership with
yeah.
something
I mean, well,
else. Yeah.
the
I mean,
the creativity that they're able to put together now through actual these online events are far outweigh what E3 has been able to do along with like when I what I'm specifically referring to is there's so much creativity you can pull in through trailers or online like actual events compared to the actual E3 presentation physically. So I would imagine this new little avenue that they're playing with just seems like the more right path.
I mean, it is. It's also easier and simpler, and again, you can curtail it and
Hmm.
like edit it down and put it out when you want, as opposed to
Yeah.
like, oh crap, we have to have a presentation ready by, June 3rd or whatever the hell, rushing to get all this stuff together.
And I wouldn't
And
be.
so now that,
Go ahead.
oh, go ahead, Tim.
I was just gonna I wouldn't be surprised with E3 when these developers come to them and be like, "Hey, we want to showcase this game." I bet you, I wouldn't be surprised if there's this whole laundry list of things that they have to do to fill that, to get that time slot to showcase that game.
Oh
And
yeah.
now these developers, these studios have more of that creative freedom, kind of like what you're talking about, Josh. Of they can release it when they want and they can do it how they want.
Exactly. I mean, even so, I mean, think back to, I'm sure you guys may have watched countless E3s in the past where even some of the devs aren't able to make it physically to E3, so you see them on being live broadcast on a monitor. So this only just makes it easier for everybody, realistically.
This kind of thing. And I mean, we see the effectiveness of this all the time. I mean, again, just a week or two ago, at the end of February, we got that PlayStation State of Play showing off the new Harry Potter game. Like, look at how easy that was. It was just 15 minutes of a woman and a guy talking over trailer footage and gameplay.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like,
I
I
mean, you
mean,
didn't need more than that, really. It was good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, there wasn't like somebody didn't have to come out on stage afterwards and explain what everybody just saw because we all saw it. Like we all have eyes. I don't need you to tell me what I just saw. Like
Yeah.
it's just an easier, more effective way to do things, and it works. Like you don't need that huge you know explosion, so to speak, of E3 um,
No, you don't. I
to
mean,
get all that
the
stuff out
countless
there.
money that they would spend on those stages alone.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. But
all the
damn.
all the dumb crap they did. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So I'd be okay with E3 going away completely. The studios give us what they've got when they're ready.
I mean, I guess the only missable thing I could see come from it, me personally, I guess my experiences. I mean, like I've never been to an E3, so I've always watched their live streams. But like the vibe is there, right? There's always that E3 vibe. So when you're
Yeah.
live streaming it, anyways, that vibe is irreplaceable. But also, I wouldn't be totally against E3 going away.
Again, we'll see what happens. It's just canceled for this year, both physically and digitally. So we'll just have to see what happens. But again, I mean, there's tons of other trade shows that more or less offer the same thing. But yeah, as of now, in person and digitally, EA Play and E3 are canceled for this year. Finally, got confirmation. We said it. We said it multiple times. There were rumors about Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League being delayed into 2023. We finally got confirmation of that. So they've been delayed a few months into spring of 2023. About this time next year, March, April, somewhere around there. They're just taking more time to work on the game, polish it, quash more bugs,
Yeah,
general stuff you do at the end of a development cycle. But
I'm all
that's
for it.
Yeah, I'll
yeah.
never be
I mean,
upset about
there's
a game being pushed
I'll,
back a few months to clean it up.
Yeah, never again. Not after everything that's recently happened with a bunch of these games.
that's the thing is ideally, everybody's learning from those mistakes again because they keep happening.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
and
does
that's the
it?
thing is you want a game to come out and have a good first impression, and if it doesn't, it can seriously kill off your game. We've seen that happen time and time again.
Yeah.
I mean, does it suck to have a game pushed back, especially one that you're really looking forward to? Absolutely, but as long as the game's being pushed back and it is going to be released and it is going to be a better overall product, I'm 100% all for it. The only time I would ever have an issue with something like this is if it gets pushed back to 2023, then to 2024, then to 2025, and now it's like
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
game's never coming out.
yeah.
I mean,
One
like even go
one
ahead, Brenden.
delay is not bad. But yeah, if it keeps happening, then that's usually a sign that something has gone off the rails.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, even close to the development, side of things. This jump into another subject. Even a an employee under the playground games, I guess, recently had an interview with I forget who that source was. Recently had an interview, and they were asked some questions about Fable, and they answered some stuff, mentioning that the dev team was taking a frugal approach to the game in general, just because their lack of RPG experience, which they have said that they have brought on a lot of old experience. Some, I guess, believe some old devs from Lionhead Studios have been brought onto the project. Which, the frugal approach thing, I'm all for. Like we were just mentioning with game being pushed back, this is, I feel, since this is Playground's first attempt at an RPG, especially
I
Fable,
wouldn't say
iconic
necessarily
Fable.
their first attempt, because in a weird way, you could almost consider Forza Horizon 2 be an RPG. No, it's not traditional by any means, but you are playing the role of the
Yeah.
person driving the car. It's again not traditional standards of RPG at all, and no, it's not nearly as in depth as Fable's going to be. But I understand their concern of kind of wanting to maybe slow down
Being
a little
frugal with
bit
it, yeah,
and
just really
and
taking
really
their
being
time.
thorough with the game. Absolutely, I 100% agree with it.
They need to be. I would implore them to absolutely to be exactly the way they're trying to treat it, just because like you could royally fuck this up.
Well, it's been what, almost what, 20, it's been what, 15 years since we've had a Fable. You don't want
It's
it to
Well,
come out
been,
and just be a
yeah,
complete
no.
flop, especially something that's this well known and popular in the Xbox community. You don't want
Well,
it.
yeah,
You don't
not
want to
only
take
that,
that
but
project on and then kill it.
even back in the day when Fable started doing that weird shit it was doing with like its different variations of Fable that were playing with Connect, or tried to go for that strategy approach, like it was shooting itself and the brand in the foot with all those weird attempts it was going for, which, I mean, it killed the studio. Lionhead went under, they closed it down. I mean, so I would imagine there's some sort of kind of like, not, I wouldn't say fear, maybe a little bit, but just like
there's
to not fuck it up, you know?
there's pressure for them to perform, and I mean that's the thing. Like they just put out Forza Horizon 5, so Fable is I'm got to be still very early stages at this point. I mean
Yeah.
that trailer we got last year was all CGI. Like that was there's no gameplay, no in-engine footage, no nothing really. Like it was
It
all
was
just.
it was the announcement realistically of
But
like,
yeah,
hey, Fable's coming back and we're doing it.
How big
yeah,
is that
and I mean
studio comparatively? Like, do they have enough resources to work on two games at once, or is this okay? They finished Forza Horizon, small skeleton team to kind of keep Horizon going and get DLC going, and then shift gears and switch focus to Fable.
Well, well, like I mentioned, as they said that they brought on a lot of old talent from Lionhead Studios in the previous Fable games. So I would
at this point, I imagine that Fable is in what you would call "quote unquote" pre-production, i.e., they're doing a lot of art. They're setting up, what the game is going to be, writing the story, making characters,
Getting the
stuff like that.
dialogue, stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
storyboarding essentially.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a lot of stuff that doesn't require actual development quite yet. So like, there's entire teams dedicated to that stuff. And as soon as once all their stuff probably got done on Forza Horizon, they started moving into Fable. At least I would imagine. And then, Len, from my understanding, Playground is a fairly big studio. I mean, not like crazy huge. The last one I heard was that they were well over like 100 people, like 150 to 200,
Okay.
which in theory would be enough to develop two games, or again have enough to transition from one game into another without messing one of them up or hindering one or the other project. But yeah, so like again, Fable is still very early on. We'll be lucky if we see anything in it,
Next
in
2 years.
if we're absolutely lucky and they just smash this development out of the park, everything goes perfectly smoothly and yada yada yada. Maybe we'll see the game in 2 years. It'll be in our hands and playable. But I would not imagine that happening. I mean, I gotta imagine that we're at least 3 years away from seeing that game come to fruition.
Yeah.
Um,
God, I hate that, but I hate it because I really want it. I really want to install
Yeah.
it, but I'll do the waiting.
But this like we've mentioned, this is pure speculation. We don't know where they are with Fable, how far in, how deep, how long they've been working on it. It's obviously they don't announce that stuff publicly.
I mean, again, we do know that it's early on. I mean, again, you're
Yes.
right. We don't know specifically how far, but I mean, we know it's early on, and again, this is also, I mean, like Tim was talking about the weight. Like this is also the upside to Microsoft buying all those studios. Is now they have a ton of different games in the pipeline. So you're gonna have
Exactly.
plenty of stuff to play before that even comes out. Like
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
We mentioned, I believe I said mentioned this in an earlier episode, is it's my like Phil Spencer's plan is to every year fill out that gap of like, so multiple titles from different studios will release, which would, in the broader view of things, give all these other developers a lot of time to work on their games, so they're not stressed to pull out a game every 2 years or every year. It will fill the schedule year by year by year for all these different developers to have the comfort and, just the time to really make their games spectacular, or, just how you would expect a game to be, to give them that comfort to have that great game release as a great game and give us different games every year from different studios specifically.
that is definitely the hope, and that's definitely a big part, uh, a part of him buying all these studios. I mean, that is one advantage to it, but it is also to help fill out Xbox's meager exclusives catalog because
Yeah.
don't have a lot.
Which they've been struggling with the past
Well,
few
yeah,
years.
again, that's also why these acquisitions have been taking place and why they're bringing some stuff back. But yeah, we'll see what comes of it. Especially this early on, I definitely would want them to take their time, figure out what the game is, and make it a proper Fable game. There's no reason to rush it, no reason to hurry.
There is no rush. It's one of the games that brought me into RPGs in the first place. So take your time.
Although, speaking of worrying about delays and stuff, again, the sequel to Breath of the Wild, the next Legend of Zelda game, did get officially delayed into 2023, into spring of 2023. So it's only a couple months pushed back because they were planning on releasing it at the end of this year anyway. Totally fine with sequel to one of the best games of all time. I will wait as long as they want me to. I do not care. Like, they did, and as a bit of an apology, Eiji Aonuma, the executive producer of the Legend of Zelda franchise, made a short little trailer of him apologizing for the delay, and then he showed off some new footage. We got to see Link with like a messed up Master Sword.
Oh, yep, yep.
Yeah, his arm is all covered in black. And we also got to see some new area shots of Hyrule and stuff. So like, and I mean, I think that's a great way to do it. One to come out and be honest about it. To be like, hey, we need more time to make this game. We're really sorry, but here's some new stuff to look at.
I
Like,
mean, have you seen the scope of that game in the trailers? So respectfully, like, take your time.
there are people who are just gonna freak out
Yeah,
about it because they
obvious.
want.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, look what
Yes.
happened to Cyberpunk. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
it's just
yeah,
gonna happen. Like, people suck. It's the short version.
yeah.
But again, like, it's the sequel to one of the best games of all time. Like, I will happily wait. And I mean, the other thing too is Nintendo already has a really strong lineup this year. So if there is a year for Legend of Zelda to kind of slip out into 2023, like, this is it. Because again, Splatoon 3 is on the way this summer. Bayonetta 3 is supposed to come out sometime this year. And again, at the end of the year, the new mainline Pokemon. Like, that's already gonna just do bananas for Nintendo anyway. Like,
Well, yeah.
they don't need a Legend of Zelda
I
to come
mean,
out
they
next
have
year.
they have the ongoing map packs. From what I understand, because I purchased, that map that was like 20, 30
The
bucks
Mario
for the
Kart.
Mario Kart map,
Yeah.
pack system, whatever the heck. It's like you can go in there and they're slated to drop these map packs all the way to 2023
Yeah, there's
of
uh
holiday. Yeah.
every few months or so. They already dropped the first one.
Yeah,
Uh
there's two out right now, I believe.
I thought it was just the first one.
No, there's two. They drop. I forget what it is. There's definitely two. I can confirm that. And
Well,
then
I
the
mean,
rest of
there's
them all.
there's two cups, but it's the same pack.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So
So
you
is
get
it like two? Is it two cups a pack?
each yeah. So each pack is going to be 8 courses, i.e. 2 cups.
Okay,
Um
okay, okay. Okay, then that's what it was.
yeah. So there's going to be 6 drops and they've already dropped the first. They haven't said when the second one is, but I got to imagine it's going to be probably summer, maybe
Yeah.
like May, June, July.
Now, are they charging individual? Like, so are they going to charge individually that what $20 to $30 for two cups a pack, or
No,
is it
the
is it a
twenty
one
five
time
dollars
purchase?
the $25 is for the whole thing, for the whole
Oh,
pass.
okay, 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 okay. I wasn't sure. I was like, damn, man,
Oh
that's a
god.
hard hit.
No, Nintendo's they've definitely gotten. I mean, they're kind of behind the times on this a bit, but like they finally got into DLC like this generation during the Switch. But like so far, honestly, like all the DLC they put into stuff, again, they've done free updates to a lot of stuff. Mario Golf got a bunch of free updates, like they got several free courses and new characters, all completely free. Yeah, I mean, even their paid DLC has been really good. Like they did paid DLC for Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild's DLC is incredible. Like it's really good and it's totally worth the money.
Yeah, and
Um,
yeah, because I remember you talking about that it added some like little buffs to some of the mechanics that annoyed or people complained about, and that is cool. So it
um,
is neat seeing them invest more in the DLC side of things.
Yeah, and I mean it's again it's another way to breathe life into games because Nintendo does have a tendency to
Forget
uh
them.
no not forget them. I mean yes, but I mean everybody forgets some of their franchises.
It's
But I
more
mean
so
they
getting with the times with so many developers out here trying to give some longevity to their games.
well yeah, and I mean it extends the lifespan especially because Nintendo does take such a usually takes such a massive break between the releases of their mainline franchises. By the time we get the next Legend of Zelda, it's going to be 6 years since we got Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
Like that's that's a major gap. Like if this this were almost any other, publisher or developer, we'd have had like three more of them by now. Like there's, Nintendo does a very good job about, making sure that their franchises stay fresh and matter. And so DLC like that booster pass is a great way to do that to add some extra life to these games.
yeah.
Uh, and yeah, I mean that booster pass is amazing, amazing value for money.
So, speaking of life of a game, could you imagine buying a game and then it goes down for maintenance for more than 24 hours?
I can
I would
because
be upset.
it happened.
It did happen.
It
Grant
happened. God, what was it? I think it
March
was like
13th or
March.
18th or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was like the 18th.
Yep, March
Um,
18th.
yeah. So, yeah, the Gran Turismo 7 servers went down for over 24 hours, which doesn't sound like a big deal because it's like, oh, you can't play online. The problem is that basically in order to play every mode in that game, you need an internet connection. Even if you're playing by yourself, just like the story mode and stuff, the game has like online checkpoints and runs online checks to make sure that, well, they claim so as people aren't cheating, which I mean is true to a point. But yeah, so like the game was basically unplayable shortly after launch for 24 hours.
Good God.
That is
I
insane.
it's absolutely ridiculous. And they took it down. It was supposedly just for like server maintenance and stuff, which is fair. Like, that is something that happens all the time without most people noticing it. Unless you're up at like 3 a.m. when they're 3 a.m. on a Tuesday when they need to shut servers down.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so it went down, and then what really sucked is it came back up, and a lot of people noticed that a lot of the prices on cars had changed. So they also worked in some other patches and stuff.
What?
Yeah, so microtransactions have existed in Gran Turismo for the last few iterations, since at
The
least Gran
fact that they
Turismo
went in there and
5.
tried to do that too.
Well, I mean, it already had them. Like they were already there. The problem is that it got worse. And the thing is because the server maintenance happened very shortly after the review embargo lifted. So that was, when people could finally put like the reviews of the games, on their websites, like IGN, Games Radar, everybody.
Yeah.
Uh, so they dropped all those reviews, and people are giving it like eights and nines, and like, oh, this is great Gran Turismo. This is everything that we wanted. Yada yada yada. So the game goes down. Now that all the reviews are out, the game goes down, and then it comes back up, and a lot of the prices for the cars have increased. The comparison was I don't remember the exact car off the top of my head, but the comparison was there was cars that used to cost you about $5 in like Gran Turismo Sport. Gran Turismo 6 now would cost you upwards of $40 of real life money.
What?
Uh,
Wow.
Yo.
yeah, and
Is that
that they,
intentional?
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like
Oh, they're dirty. So they put
you
out and
don't do
waited
that
for
on
the
accident.
reviews.
Oh yeah,
They waited for those reviews, pulled it down, and then tried to. Oh, that's sick.
I mean, again, you can't officially confirm that. Like that server maintenance minor just happened anyway, but
I mean,
uh,
come on.
it's very suspect. It's very suspicious. So yeah, they came back up. People noticed it, and then also like the rewards for the game. like the game is very grindy enough as it is. Because again, like you have to pay aside from like I think a few starting cars, like you have to actually buy with the in-game money every
Yeah.
single car. Like it's
Yeah,
not like
compared to Forza, it's been of like you grind those races, get that money, buy some cars. Yeah.
yeah, it's so people have been complaining about one them increasing prices and then not increasing the rewards to the
Was
point
it
where
more? Were you able to do microtransactions for actual in-game money? I would imagine so.
yeah, that's the whole point. Like you could
So
pay
yeah, they're like, hey, buy the pack, buy the money.
that's the thing. So there isn't like a specific car pack. Like you can't, you know, buy, like
Like a
this set
Toyota
of
pack.
Lamborghinis. Or yeah, you can't do that. You
No,
have
but
to
like it's
buy
for the
for the
actual money.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like so you can't even just like buy them directly with real money. You have to buy in-game currency and then use that in-game currency to buy
Oh,
those cars.
God, that's dirty.
Oh, that makes
Um
sense.
yeah. So which again is not entirely new. Like Gran Turismo has been doing it before, but they this was definitely a slap in the face to their player base. And again, like Gran Turismo used to be the premier simulation racing franchise.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember
and
back in the day, PlayStation 2, dude. Like, I mean, that's for me, my introduction into the
no, I
series.
mean that's
Yeah.
I mean most people loved Gran Turismo really until probably about PS3, Xbox 360 generation because that's when Forza really started taking off. And yeah, Forza is it's really hard to look at Gran Turismo and the way it does things and then not want to go play Forza. That I mean, Forza has its problems, do not get me wrong, but it is a way more, friendly and open
Well,
atmosphere.
yeah, it's more friendly, absolutely rewarding on so many different fronts.
So yeah, a lot of their players have taken this as a slap in the face and are
Damn,
up in
dude, that
arms.
sucks.
They have, to be fair to them, they have promised fixes. And they're going to supposedly adjust some of their prices and adjust some of the in-game rewards, so that people are making more money per race and all that stuff.
Promised fixes, more like come out publicly and apologize for us being slimy bastards.
I mean, that's basically what they did. I mean, they did have to come out and publicly like state like that they did this and this is what happened and da 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 da. And, we're gonna try to make good on the game that you all wanted. To be fair to them, they have promised fixes. That is gonna take a little bit of time. Although, funnily enough, a lot of people have made a because of PlayStation's like remote play. You can play PlayStation from your PlayStation 5, like you can play like on PC. So there are people who wrote a simple script on PC, so you can download it and have it running, and it'll just run races for you, even when you're not like it'll just do everything automatically. So it's basically a bot to a point, just so you can grind out money, so that you don't have to pay real world money for that shit. I saw people doing it. It's I mean, maybe I shouldn't be encouraging that kind of thing, but like it's surprisingly easy. Like I saw a video of a guy doing it and it took him like 5 minutes to set it up and he just started going so that people can just run Gran Turismo 7 races when, all the time. They just have to leave their computer on playing Gran Turismo and just run races and they can just earn money for free. Kind of deserve it. Like
I mean,
Let's.
even I want to squeeze this in here. On the other side of the news, actually, yesterday, did you see that 343 came out on the Waypoint addressing some news and what's to come in season two of Halo Infinite for its I guess season two battle pass. They announced that they're going to add in what 4 new maps day one. They're going to add in some new game modes along the lines of King of the Hill, Attrition, and apparently a lot of bug fixes to like the motion tracker, some other issues that they've had. I believe a new big team battle map, things of that caliber. I'm not entirely sure what else, but they just kind of gave a basic update that we're going to get some actual like multiplayer content specifically towards that realm of things. I just wanted to squeeze that in there.
Netflix has acquired Boss Fight Games, which is just another mobile game developer. I assume this kind of aligns with Netflix dream or vision of being able to play games directly on your TV or on your like phone or something.
Yeah, I mean it's also why they're requiring mobile developers to keep those games simple. Like, we're not gonna get Halo on Netflix. Like it's like they want you to be able to play it, you
Could you
know.
imagine?
I mean, I'm sure there's part of them that would love that, but at the same time, like realistically, if the goal is to get everyone who already has a Netflix subscription playing, like not all
Yeah.
those people, you know, have a controller sitting around or whatever, so they want you to be able to play it with
It
a
it
TV
seems
remote
like
or
it
touchscreen.
seems like they're hurting for a little bit of diversity
I mean,
because
it's
their prices would keep
uh,
going up too,
Yeah, they
dude.
just
yeah,
raised it again or
Like
going to
$20
raise it.
now, 25.
no, it's the basic plan now is the basic streaming plan is going up to like $18, I think, or something.
Oh hell, then what's the 4K streaming plan?
Who
A
knows?
few more
Good
dollars more than
God.
that. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Oh God, that's
I mean,
crazy.
it's a well, it's a whole thing, but yeah, it's crazy that they keep upping their prices and they're
I
trying to find
mean,
new ways to.
yeah, I mean, because look at the competition: Amazon taking off, Disney Plus taking off. I mean,
Paramount
that
Plus,
would maybe
Hulu. I mean,
Paramount.
Their biggest competition is Disney Plus. Has about the same amount of subscribers, and then actually HBO Max.
Oh yeah, I
Those
forgot about them.
those are the top three streamers right now. And then Hulu's in fourth, with like I think they're like 70 million or something.
Well, they cut a damn deal to have the new Kardashians show specifically exclusively on Hulu. I mean, so yeah, they Netflix has
I mean, this is
competition for
I mean, this is
sure.
a way to give them something different. And again, it's mostly simple stuff. Um, like you can play some of the Telltale games on there and just make, decisions, and then the game basically plays itself. I watched a cousin of mine do that. He's playing the Minecraft story mode on there.
What?
Yeah, you've been able to do that for a while. This is them just again expanding into some type of game development. They've acquired a number of these studios, but really still haven't seen anything out of it yet.
Yeah.
But don't I would not expect Netflix to like try to get EA or something. Like they're not going to do that. It's going to be smaller studios, mobile game developers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this is like the third or fourth studio they've acquired
and don't
over the
expect them to
last.
bring out the next game breaking RPG or something.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Net Runners is their next game.
yeah. All right, so I think that's gonna about wrap it up for this episode. With all this news, Brendan, what's the news on the game that you're playing these couple weeks this week?
ah. So yeah, I finished Horizon Forbidden West, and then after that, I was playing Shredders, which is a snowboarding game. It's really good actually if you like that type of thing. And I finished that, and I finished Kirby and the Forgotten Land because that came out. And then it, immediately I am finally getting into Elden Ring. About
Yay!
I'm about 7 hours in at this point, something like that. I haven't even beat the first main boss guy yet. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm on Elden Ring. I'm on the Elden Ring train. Uh, Josh, what about you?
Well, I was on the Elden Ring train. I've put about 200 hours into it solid, and I'm currently way into a new game plus playthrough on it, and I kind of hit this wall, and I'm just like, I think I really want to take a break just because, as people know how difficult that game is. I mean, I'm toughed through the new game plus now, and I'm just like, I think I need a break. So I currently just started up Mass Effect Legendary Edition again.
Hey.
What was this, your
Can't
third or
go wrong with
fourth
that.
go through?
And overall throughout the entire series and
Mm-hmm.
all the old, from 360 to Xbox One, and how many times? I don't know. I think I'm nearing like this is probably like my 30th playthrough.
Jeez.
I've played it so many damn times, and only in respect to the fact that this game keeps giving. Okay, I keep
Oh,
finding out things.
you know how to defend yourself, man. I know it's an amazing game. I'm not gonna fault you for wanting to play it again at all.
But what about you, Tim? What is on
Uh,
your
I mean,
repertoire.
same as last time. Like I said, my time's still kind of limited, and it's only going to get worse from here. But Elden Ring and Horizon Zero Dawn, I think I've got just shy of 20 hours in Elden Ring now, and Brenden and I just finally beat my first boss. But also,
Yeah,
I
you
haven't
did, yeah.
I haven't been focusing on the storyline at all. I've been really grinding and working on building my guy up. So that's just kind of been my whole focus of the game so far. All right, so I think that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. We really appreciate you guys sticking with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, thumbs up, comment. Anything you can do on whatever platform you listen on, or go listen to us on a different platform. Anyways, but we really appreciate it, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks.
Later, guys.
Thanks for listening.